Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English with Podcasts, your favorite place for slow, clear, and genuinely real English conversation practice. I am Emma.
And I am Leo, and I want to say something before we even start today. I am a little nervous about this episode.
Nervous? Really? Why?
Because today's topic is deeply personal for me. We are talking about dreams and goals. And when I think about my own dreams, I feel a lot of emotions all at once.
That is such an honest thing to say. And honestly, I think everyone listening right now feels the same way about their own dreams.
Dreams are not just topics. They are the most personal things we carry inside us every day.
Beautifully said. Today, we talk about dreams and goals in real natural English, the phrases people actually use when they discuss their future, their fears, and their hopes.
So whether your dream is to speak English fluently, to travel the world, to change your career, or to build something new, this conversation is for you.
Let us start with something fun. Leo, what was your childhood dream? What did you want to be when you were little?
Oh no, do I have to tell you?
Yes, absolutely yes.
Okay, when I was about 7 years old, I wanted to be a superhero. Not a person who works with superheroes, an actual superhero.
Leo, that is wonderful. Did you have a specific superpower in mind?
I wanted to fly. I genuinely believed that if I tried hard enough, I could figure it out. I jumped off my bed many times testing this theory.
And the result?
The result was that flying is harder than it looks, but I was very committed to the dream.
I love that. The grammar point here is I used to dream of. Leo would say, I used to dream of being a superhero. I used to means something was true in the past but is no longer true now.
I used to dream of flying. I used to believe I could do it. I used to jump off my bed every morning before school.
Those are perfect examples. What about you, Emma? What did you want to be?
You have to tell us now.
Fine. I wanted to be a famous author. I used to write little stories in a notebook and I would read them to my family at dinner.
That is so sweet. Were they good stories?
Absolutely not. One story was about a dog who could drive a car. I thought it was a masterpiece. My family was very supportive and also very patient.
A dog who could drive a car sounds amazing, honestly.
The point is that childhood dreams are full of imagination and joy. And even though my dream changed as I grew up, that love of storytelling stayed with me.
And that is something really important. Our dreams change as we learn more about ourselves and the world, and that is completely normal and healthy.
Completely. You can say, my dreams have changed over the years, or as I grew up, my goals became different. Both of those are very natural English expressions.
Now, let us talk about something that many people feel but do not always say out loud, the difference between a dream and a goal.
Oh, this is such an important distinction. A dream is the beautiful vision, the thing you imagine when you close your eyes and think about your ideal future.
And a goal is the concrete plan, the steps you actually take to move toward that vision.
So a dream might be, I want to speak English like a native speaker. That is the vision. The goal is, I will practice English for 20 minutes every morning this week.
The dream is the destination. The goal is the road you take to get there.
And you need both. Without a dream, you have no direction. Without goals, you have no movement.
I spent a long time having dreams with no goals attached to them, and nothing changed. The dreams just floated around in my head, feeling nice, but going nowhere.
Tell me more about that, because I think many people listening will recognize that feeling.
I had this dream for years of learning Spanish. I thought about it constantly. I imagined myself speaking it beautifully in a market in Barcelona.
That sounds wonderful. What happened?
Absolutely nothing happened. For 3 years, I dreamed about it and did not study a single word, because dreaming without doing is just daydreaming.
And daydreaming feels good, but it doesn't move you forward. The moment everything changed for you was when you attached a specific goal to the dream.
Exactly. I said, instead of dreaming about Spanish, I'm going to spend 15 minutes every morning on a language app. That small, specific goal changed everything.
I'm planning to is such a powerful phrase. When you say, I'm planning to study Spanish every morning, something shifts. It feels more real and more committed than I want to.
I want to is a wish. I'm planning to is a commitment. And I am working towards is even stronger. It means you have already started moving.
For example, I am working towards becoming fluent in English. That phrase shows active present progress. You are not waiting to start. You are already in motion.
And motion is everything. Even the smallest step counts. Even 15 minutes counts. Even listening to this podcast right now counts as a real step toward your goal.
Now, let us talk about something that gets in the way of every dream and every goal: fear.
Oh, fear, my old friend.
What does fear say to you when you are trying to work toward a big dream?
Fear says things like, what if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you try your hardest and it is still not enough?
Those voices are so specific and so cruel. And the worst part is, they sound very convincing.
They sound like truth, but they are not truth. They are fear wearing the costume of truth.
Fear wearing the costume of truth. I want everyone to remember that phrase, because that's exactly what self-doubt is.
When English learners tell me they are afraid to speak because they might make mistakes, I always say the same thing. Making mistakes is not the problem. Not trying is the problem.
Mistakes are proof that you are trying, and trying is the only way forward. You cannot learn to speak English by staying silent.
You cannot learn to swim without getting into the water. You cannot learn to ride a bicycle without falling off sometimes.
In English, we say, I feel discouraged when we want to express that feeling of wanting to give up because things are hard.
I feel discouraged about my progress, or I am having doubts about whether I can do this. These are honest and brave things to say.
And saying them out loud is actually the first step to moving past them. When you name the fear, it loses a little of its power.
I once told a friend I feel so discouraged about my English. I feel like everyone else is improving faster than me. And she said something I will never forget.
What did she say?
She said, you are not running the same race as everyone else. You are running your own race, on your own path, at your own pace.
That is genuinely one of the most freeing things I have ever heard. Your only comparison should be yourself. Are you better than you were last week, last month, last year?
That is the only measurement that matters. And the answer for anyone who keeps showing up and keeps practicing is always yes.
Now, let us talk about distraction, because in today's world, distraction might be the biggest enemy of every dream and goal.
Oh, absolutely. I sat down to study English last Tuesday with great intentions. I was going to study for 1 full hour.
How long did you actually study?
I opened my notebook, looked at my phone for just 1 second, and 40 minutes later I was watching a video about how cheese is made in a small village in France.
How was the cheese?
Honestly, it looked delicious, but that is not the point.
The point is that I got distracted is one of the most commonly used phrases in modern life, and everyone understands it immediately.
I got distracted by my phone. I got distracted by social media. I got distracted by a video about French cheese.
All valid, all relatable, and all things that can be managed with one simple shift in approach.
What is the shift?
Remove the distraction before you start. Put the phone in another room. Close the unnecessary tabs. Create a small space of focus just for those 15 or 20 minutes.
I am struggling to stay focused is another phrase that is very honest and very natural. It is not a failure to say that. It is self-awareness.
And self-awareness is the beginning of every real improvement. Now, let us talk about something that I believe is the most powerful thing you can do for any dream or goal.
What is it?
Knowing your why. Your why is the deep personal reason behind everything you are working for.
Tell me more. What does that look like in real life?
So if your goal is to learn English fluently, that's the what. The why is the deeper reason. Why do you want to learn English?
Maybe the lie is I want to get a better job so I can give my family a better life.
Or maybe the why is I want to travel freely and connect with people from every corner of the world without fear or barriers.
Or maybe the why is I want to prove to myself that I can do something that once felt completely impossible.
All of those whys are powerful, and when things get hard, when you feel tired, when you feel like giving up, your why is what keeps you going.
You can say, I am doing this for my future, or my family is my motivation, or I want to become the best version of myself.
Those are not just motivational phrases. They are anchors. They hold you in place when the storms of doubt and distraction try to pull you away.
I wrote my why on a small card and I keep it in my wallet. Every time I feel like skipping my practice, I take it out and read it.
That's such a practical and powerful habit. You can also stick your goals on your mirror, on your desk, on the wall above your study space.
Seeing your goals every single day keeps them alive and present in your mind. It is harder to forget something you see every morning when you wake up.
In English, we say, I like to visualize my goals, or I keep my goals in mind. To keep something in mind means to actively remember it and think about it often.
Visualization is a technique many successful people use. You close your eyes and imagine yourself already achieving the dream, already speaking English fluently, already living that life.
It sounds simple, but it genuinely works. Your brain begins to believe in the possibility when you give it that clear, vivid image regularly.
Now, Emma, I want to talk about something that stops so many people from even starting, the feeling that it might be too late.
Oh, yes. This one breaks my heart a little because it is so completely untrue, and yet so many people believe it.
People say things like, I should have started years ago, or I am too old to learn something new now, or it is too late for me.
It is never too late. Those 4 words should be written on a wall that every person can see every day.
There is a famous story about a woman who started painting for the very first time at the age of 78. She became one of the most celebrated folk artists in history.
78. She did not say it is too late. She picked up a brush and she started.
And that is the entire lesson. You start where you are, with what you have, right now, today.
You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need to be young. You do not need to have unlimited time or money or talent.
You just need to take the next small step. Just one step, not the whole journey, just the very next step.
In English, we say, I am taking it one step at a time, or one day at a time. These phrases mean you are focusing on today rather than feeling overwhelmed by the whole journey ahead.
One day at a time is such a calming and wise phrase. It says you do not have to solve everything today. You just have to do something today.
Something small counts. Listening to this episode counts. Learning 3 new words counts. Having one conversation in English counts.
Consistency is the real secret that nobody talks about enough. Not talent, not intelligence, not perfect conditions. Just showing up every single day.
Consistency means doing something regularly over a long period of time. It is better to practice English for 15 minutes every day than to study for 3 hours once a month.
The brain learns through repetition and regularity. Small daily practice builds stronger pathways in your brain than big occasional sessions.
So your goal does not need to be massive. Your goal just needs to be consistent. 15 minutes a day, every day, for a year is over 90 hours of practice.
90 hours. That number sounds very different from just 15 minutes a day. Same time, very different perspective.
Perspective changes everything. And speaking of changing perspective, let us practice a real short dialogue using all the phrases we've learned today.
Great idea. I will pretend I'm feeling discouraged and you encourage me.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Emma, I need to talk to you. I am having real doubts about my English. I feel like I'm not making any progress at all. I am so discouraged.
Leo, I hear you. That feeling is completely normal, but I want you to think about where you were 6 months ago compared to today.
I guess I am better than I was, but it still feels too slow. Maybe it is just too late for me to ever be truly fluent.
It is never too late. Remember your why. Why did you start learning English in the first place?
To travel and speak to people around the whole world freely.
That's your why. Hold it, never let go.
Subscribe to English with Podcasts now. Goodbye to everyone.